Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video. I'm Jenny, part of the team who creates Colouring Heaven. This week we have an amazing tutorial for you where professional colouring pencil artist Jo Barber will be teaching you how to colour stunning translucent fairy wings with a rainbow shimmer. Just look at how beautifully they turn out. Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Plus, stay tuned the same time next week, that's Friday at midday UK time, when we'll be bringing you a speed colouring video so you can see how Jo coloured this entire colouring page. This design is from our Fairytopia Special issue, which you can get your hands on via the link in the description. But for now, let's get stuck into the tutorial.
Today I will be demonstrating how to colour transparent fairy wings with a slight rainbow shimmer using this design by Mystic Art Mirrors from Colouring Heaven Fairytopia Special. I will be working with Prismacolor pencils. I will split this demonstration into two sections. Firstly, rainbow shimmer, and secondly, transparency. So, starting with the rainbow shimmer, when you're trying to achieve a particular effect, it's really helpful to find examples that you can use as inspiration. So I searched on the internet to see what examples of shimmering wings could be found in nature. When you're looking for examples on the internet, it's a good idea to find images that are royalty free so that you steer clear of copyright issues. This is particularly important if you are going to use the images in a public or commercial setting like this one. Luckily, public-spirited artists have set up websites containing lots of copyright-free images which are safe to use without asking for permission or giving credit to the artist, even for commercial purposes. But if you're going to create a work of art where the original artist's work is still recognisable, you should still give them credit. I used 3 websites to find wing examples. Firstly, Pixabay, secondly Unsplash, and thirdly Wiki Commons. So let's have a look at the examples that I found. So a warning, I'm going to start looking at insects. So the first example here is a damselfly. The wings have got a nice rainbow shimmer, but they're not particularly transparent. I think the same goes for this image of a bee. We've got beautiful colours in the wings, but they're not particularly transparent. So the third example that I found was this, the lace wing. It's got a really beautiful rainbow transition here, and the wings look very transparent. So this is the one that I'm going to base my design on. So to start with, I'm going to design a colour palette that's actually based on the colours in this wing and work out the colour transitions that I'll need to make. So I'll demonstrate that on this sheet of paper. I'm going to start with a light aqua PC992 pencil. You can start at whichever stage of the rainbow you want to. I'm then going to change to the yellow. It's lemon yellow PC915, and I'm going to overlap with the blue to get a smooth transition. Just go back to the blue for a second. Then we're going to go straight to the pink, which is hot pink PC993, and again we're going to overlap with the yellow. and then move into the pink. I'm using a light pressure here with long oval strokes because I'm doing it quite roughly. Then once we've done the pink, we move into the blue, which is Cerulean Blue PC 103. We'll overlap here. Now what you can do, where the transitions have happened, they've created some of the other colours. So we've got green, orange and purple. And now what you can do, if you want to accentuate those, you can actually pick up those colours. So we've got True Green, PC 910. So I'm just bringing out the green shade here. Then orange, it's actually called Orange, PC 918. On this transition, and then for the next transition I'm actually using Lilac, PC 956. There, and those are the colours that I'll be using for my rainbow. Interestingly, if you look at this rainbow, you'll see that it doesn't have a red in it. Some scientists have suggested that there is no red in the reflections on insect wings because insects can't actually see the colour red. But I don't know if that is the actual reason or not. If you want more information on how to blend, if you're a beginner starting out on this, keep an eye out for the Colouring Heaven video on how to blend. Now we're going to take these colours that we've worked out and apply them to the wings in the design. We're going to be using very light pressure, and I'm going to be working in small circles here as I want to do the colouring more carefully. So you can really start your rainbow in whatever order you want. So for this one I'm going to start here. So as you can see, I'm using a very light pressure. Then moving into the yellow. Then the pink. And then the blue. And as you can see, the orange and the green have actually been produced by the transition between the two colours, so I don't think that needs touching up at all. Then I'm going to make each panel a slightly different combination of the rainbow colours. So the next one I'm going to start with pink. into blue, then once we've done blue, we'll be starting again at the beginning of the sequence. So from blue we go back to the light aqua. So next one, I'm going to do a little bit of the light aqua again. Then straight into the yellow. And you don't have to make each colour the same length. Because the wings are faceted, the light will be reflecting differently off each facet and will be acting in different ways. So you can just play around as much as you want. Right, I'm going to start this one with the actual orange. So what I'm going to do now, just to get a smoother finish, particularly on the dark blue, is burnish over it with, this is Cloud Blue PC1023. I'm using a paler colour because I don't want to make the blue any darker. I think the other colours are looking smooth enough as they are. So I'm now going to move on to second wing. This one down here. Starting with the green this time. Yellow going on for a long way. Bit of dark blue here. just going to do one more wing up here. Now what you want to bear in mind is that when you come to colour the rest of the image, you want to try and echo the colours that you've used in the wings, because that will produce a harmonious drawing. Right, so I'm going to finish off by burnishing the dark blue. Then what you can do is perhaps put a little bit more colour in a few patches just along where the veins are in the wings. Right, now that we've coloured the wings, we're going to have a look at transparency. Now again, to get some ideas for how to convey the idea of transparency in a drawing, I had a look on the internet, and this time I looked at some of the old masters' paintings, because often their paintings would include someone wearing a lace veil. So this is a painting by Botticelli. It's called Madonna of the Pomegranate. As you can see, the Madonna in this picture is wearing a lacy veil. Now in the areas that are covered by the veil, you can see that he's still showing the colours that are in the background of the veil, like the hair in this example, but they are muted. If you compare that section to this section, you can see the difference in shade. Botticelli also delineates the edge of the veil by using white edges. The veil will be thicker and less transparent at the edges where it is hemmed. He also shows embroidered areas as white because the white embroidery thread is not transparent. Now in our drawing, we don't need to delineate the edges because the artist has already done this for us. As we can see, we've already got the edge of each segment has been outlined, which is in fact, if we look back at the lace wing, you can see that the lace wing also has black edges in the segments of its wings. So what we need to do is show the area behind the wing in a muted colour, and it is best to do this part of the colouring after you've done the wings, because it's easier to make the colours muted if you put them on top of another layer of colour. What I also want to do in this image is show the artist's black lines continuing underneath the wings. So in order to show the black as a muted colour, I'm going to use a grey felt tips. Now I've got two here that I'm going to use. They're both Stabilo pens. One is a 68 and one is an 88. So I'm starting with the 68. This one is slightly thicker than the other one. So I'm going to use this one for the thicker lines that the artist has drawn. There we go. So I'm just drawing in where I think the lines would have gone under the wings. That's another line there, that looks thick. Then I'm going to put in the thinner lines with this 88 pen, which is finer. If you don't feel happy about this stage, you can always leave it out and go straight on to laying down the colour. There. So now you can colour the area behind the wings. You will probably want to leave doing this until you've coloured the rest of the image, so that you've worked out what colours you're actually going to use. But luckily I've already done that. So this first section is going to be the hair. So I'll colour this section of the hair as well, and then bring it down gently over the wing. So that you can see I'm using a much brighter, I'm pressing harder to do the hair that's not under the wing. So going back to what I was saying before, I'm actually using the same shade of yellow in her hair as I've used on the wing, so that's the lemon yellow. I should have mentioned that the base colour that I've been using for the hair is Eggshell PC140, which is one that I haven't used in the wings. You don't have to copy every single colour. Here we go, so I'm just coming back in with the yellow. Do this section of hair as well. Oh, I haven't done the outlines on that section. Here we go, let's put them in. So for doing hair, I'm using long directional strokes. I'm also putting a bit of orange into the hair, but I'm using a different shade. This is called Goldenrod, PC1034. Then I'm also bringing in a few pink highlights, again, just to pick up the colours in the wings. Now we move on to her arm, where we use the same principle. We use the colours that we've decided to use for her skin, but make them more muted as they go behind the wing. So I'm starting off with a light peach, PC927. And just skimming over the bit that's under the wing. Then coming back in darker as we come out the other side. Then I'm putting some of the shadow in on the arm with Rosy Beige, PC1019. Just bring that up under the wing, but using a lighter pressure. Then to finish it off, it's very effective to put some highlights on using a white Posca pen, which I think seems to be more effective at going over a layer of colour than a normal white gel pen. So we're going to put lines like this. You can break it up, make it dots as well, so the light won't be reflecting evenly. So you want to put this line, there's a few dots there, on the top edge of the wing where it would be catching the light, the top edge of the segment. Again, you don't have to put it on every single segment. And there we go, all finished. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial.
Hello again, Jenny here. I hope you enjoyed following along with this tutorial. Don't forget you can get your hands on the Fairytopia Special issue, which was featured in this video, via the link in our description. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell. See you next week. Bye!